Hi students, how are you all? Welcome again. Okay, what I am talking about today, I am talking about the remaining part of the endocrine system, the endocrine glands. Importance you all know. So, what are the other glands that we have to discuss? We had already discussed about the hypothalamus, and I had started discussing about pituitary gland. So, as I had said earlier, also I will suggest you to start from the head, from the top of your body, to locate the endocrine glands. If you start from the top, from the head, brain, in the brain there are three important endocrine glands, which are there. They are the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Pituitary gland is the master gland, as we had all seen. And why so? Because it secretes or releases a number of hormones which are responsible for many physiological processes, very important processes. So, for example, the growth hormone is there, which regulates the growth in human beings. So, the hypo secretion of this HGH, human growth hormone, will cause dwarfism. The hyper secretion of hypo means low, hyper means high. So, hyper secretion of this HGH will lead to gigantism. So, this is clear. So, this is very important, HGH, and then FSH, follicle stimulating hormone for the female reproductive system. This is a very important, FSH, and then LH, luteinizing hormone, and then ADH, your antidiuretic hormone, or vasopressin. If ADH is not sufficiently there, then what will happen? The loss of water will be there, excess loss of water, and your diabetes insipidus will set in. So this is also a condition because of the deficiency of ADH, that is antidiuretic hormones secreted by pituitary gland. Then your melanin stimulating hormone MH is also there, which acts on the melanocytes. Melanocytes are containing melanin, which is responsible for the pigmentation of the skin. So these are the important, very important hormones released by pituitary glands. Some others are there also, oxytocin, which is very helpful in the contraction of muscles on the females. During the childbirth, it helps in the contraction of the uterus so that the baby can be expelled easily. Right? So, oxytocin is also very important. Like this, the pituitary gland is stimulating many important or releasing many important hormones. Then there's another gland, that is pineal gland, so the smallest gland in our body, and it is in the center of the brain. And what it is doing, you just remember the important functions of pineal gland hormone, which is known as melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone secreted by your pineal gland. So this melatonin mainly does what? It is controlling the the pattern, the sleep pattern, and the awake up pattern. Sleep and awake cycle it controls. Sleep and awake. You are sleeping the whole night, and you are awake in the daytime. So this pattern is regulated by which hormone? It is melatonin, secreted by which gland? That is the pineal gland. Pineal gland is in the center of the brain, which is which is smallest gland in our body. In addition, it also helps in the other functions, like other metabolic processes, like your pigmentation, your menstrual cycle, as well as in our defense system. So this is the function of the pineal gland hormone, which is known as melatonin. Thyroid, then we come to thyroid. Some extra information you already know about thyroid. Thyroid lobes are connected by a thread, very fine thread-like structure, which is called what? Which is called isthmus. So thyroid basically secretes two hormones, that is thyroxine, and the other is tetrahydrothyronine. Thyronine. So this is a little lengthy name. It is actually the tetra your tetrahydrothyronine is T4 is the thyroxine, and the other is trihydrothyramine, which is T4. So these two words you have to remember. Two types of thyroxine is there, two types of hormones secreted by thyroid. One is tetrahydrothyronine. Tetrahydrothyronine is symbolically shown as T4, and the another is trihydrothyronine. Trihydrothyronine. One is tetra and another is trihydrothyronine. This is T3. Tetra means 4. So tetrahydrothyronine is T4 and trihydrothyronine, tri means 3. So T3, T4 and T3. So iodine is essential for the formation of thyroxine. So people who are having iodine less or iodine deficient food are more prone to the deficiency of thyroxine, which causes goiter. Okay, so this is the consequence of hyposecretion of your thyroxine. That is the secretions of thyroid gland. If thyroxine is deficient because of the non-availability of iodine in the food, in the water or food, then deficiency of thyroxine will result because it is made of iodine. Thyroxine is made of iodine mostly. So this is how your hypothyroidism can take place because of the deficiency of iodine in our food. So in hilly areas, these are very common. Hypothyroidism is very common, and the result is goiter. The thyroid gland swells because of under secretion of thyroxine. So neck region, there is a swelling in the neck region. So you must have noticed. And the hypersecretion also causes problems. Hypersecretion will lead to your hyperthyroidism, which is known as exophthalmic goiter. Exophthalmic goiter means the eyes will become red and the eyeballs will look like protruding out. So this is hyperthyroidism. And besides this, if there is over secretion of thyroxine because of some extra growth in the thyroid gland or development of nodules, there will be the rate of synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormones increased, right, in abnormally high levels, leading to a condition called hyperthyroidism. This is also called hyperthyroidism. Because of some nodes or extra growth on the thyroid gland, this can happen. Okay, so this is very important, student, to remember the important features and points regarding the thyroid gland. And other important features of this gland is, as I said, in the basic metabolic rates of all the metabolic processes, okay, that is BMR, basic metabolic rate. That is the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, okay, and fats, all are controlled by the thyroxine, by the hormone thyroxine. Maintenance of water and electrolyte balance is also influenced by thyroid hormone. So all these metabolic processes are controlled by thyroxine. Thyroid gland also secretes a protein hormone. It secretes a protein hormone called thyrocalcitonin. Thyrocalcitonin. It sometimes is called calcitonin also. But actually, it is thyrocalcitonin, which regulates the blood calcium levels. What it does, it regulates the blood calcium level. Like this, student, you have to also remember certain points, important roles of your parathyroid gland and your thymus gland. All these glands, you have to remember the important features which are there in your book. So, I think I will pick up some important points only to make the thing simple. Like parathyroid gland, four parathyroid glands are present at the back side of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland at the back, parathyroid glands are there. One pair is in two lobes of the thyroid gland. One pair is there in the two lobes of the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is having two lobes, as I had said. It is connected by a thin thread called the isthmus. So each pair of parathyroid is there in each lobe of the thyroid gland. Clear? Now the parathyroid glands secrete a peptide hormone called parathyroid hormone. The parathyroid hormone, the gland parathyroid is secreting a peptide hormone. What is peptide hormone? Peptide hormones are having smaller chains, right? Not bigger chains like the main hormones. The peptides are simpler forms of proteins. So peptide hormones are having small chains, right? So they're secreting the parathyroid hormone. The secretion of parathyroid hormone is regulated by circulating levels of calcium ions. So calcium ions balance is maintained by this parathyroxine, right? The parathyroid hormone, which is a peptide hormone called a parathyroid hormone, which maintains the calcium balance in our body. Similarly, thymus is there at the base of the trachea, between the two lungs, behind the sternum, behind the chest bone. This thymus is there. So it is very important because it seeds or collects a collection of T lymphocytes is there. That is why it is called T lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are the special WBC you all have studied, which not only kills the pathogens but also forms antibodies against a specific antigen. So these T cells have been named because they are found mostly on the thymus. So T cells are there. So thymus main role is in the defense mechanism of the body. So thymosin, the thymus plays a major role in the development of the immune system. As I said just now, this gland secretes the peptide hormone called, this is also a peptide hormone, smaller chains, thymosin. Thymosin play a major role in the immunity. In addition, thymosin, as I discussed about T lymphocytes, in addition, thymosin also promote production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. First is cell-mediated immunity. That means directly killing the bacteria, cell-mediated, and also humoral immunity, that is creating antibody. So both kinds of immunity are produced by thymus gland secretions, which are known as thymosin. Similarly, adrenal glands are there, students. Adrenal glands, the adrenal tip, there are from the cortex and medulla, hormones are secreted from the adrenal medulla, and outside is adrenal cortex. From the adrenal medulla, which hormone is being released? That is the fight and flight hormone. Sometimes in urgency, in case of emergencies, what happens? You have to decide whether to fight or to flight or to run away. So these decisions in very, very urgent situations or in emergency situations we take. So this adrenal cortex secrete a hormone which helps in this fight and flight situation. Okay. And your underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters carbohydrate metabolism. Cortex, from the cortex, which are the hormones secreted? They are the hormones which are controlling the glucocorticoid metabolism and also the mineralocorticoid metabolism. So the glucocorticoid means fat protein metabolism will be hampered if the adrenal cortex is not releasing hormones sufficiently. Weakness, fatigue will be there, which is called the Addison's disease. So I've discussed almost the important parts of this chapter. Pancreas, exocrine, endocrine functions are there. You all are aware of testes producing the male hormone, that is the testosterone, and the ovaries are secreting the female hormone, which are progesterone and estrogen. So there are some organs in our body which are not endocrine glands, but they are also secreting some hormones, like our heart, kidney, and gastrointestinal tract. So heart releases the hormone called the arterial natriuretic factor, ANF, which decreases blood pressure. ANF is released by heart, which decreases blood pressure. And kidney also produces a peptide hormone called erythropoietin, which stimulates erythropoiesis or formation of RBC, right? And the gastric secretin is also the endocrine cells present at different parts of gastrointestinal tract also. They are gastrin, secretin, and cholecystokinin. And gastric inhibitory peptides. Gastric acts as a genetic glands. Gastric acts on the gastric glands. Gastrin acts on the gastric glands and stimulates the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. We all know that in our stomach, your HCl is there and gastric juice is there, which is, stimulate secretion of this is stimulated by this gastrin. Okay. Several other non-endocrine tissues secrete hormones called growth factors. These factors are essential for the normal growth of tissues, and they are repairing. And now one slight thing is left, that is mechanism of hormone action. How do hormones act? So hormones produce their effects on target tissues by binding to specific proteins. They bind to the specific proteins called hormone receptors. They also contain hormones, and they bind with the specific proteins, which are hormone receptors located in the target tissues only. Hormone receptors present on the cell membrane of the target cells are called membrane-bound receptors, and the receptors present inside the target cell are called intracellular receptors. Mostly nuclear receptors present in the nucleus. The proteins present in the nucleus, they are doing this activity. Binding of a hormone to its receptor leads to the formation of a hormone receptor complex. Okay, each receptor is specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are specific. Specific hormone act on specific target organs. So they have specific actions. Okay, because of this fact. Target tissue metabolism and hence physiological functions are regulated by hormones on the basis of their chemical nature. Hormones can be divided into groups: peptide, polypeptide, protein hormones, steroids, iodothionins, and amino acid derivatives. Like Examples are there. You have to remember these forms of different hormones. Small chains, big chains. Huh. So peptide, polypeptide protein hormones, insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormones, right, hypothalamic hormones, and then steroids are your cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone. These are all steroids. And iodothyronines, thyroid hormones, amino acid derivatives are all epinephrine. So like this, the examples you have to remember, students. So there are certain important things mentioned in your book. You have to go through the diagrams and understand them. If anything, any issue, point you want to make more clear, please let me know in this chapter. I think I've discussed a lot about this, and now I will start some other chapter in my next video. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye, and God bless you all.